Okay, just before we start the next video, let me just tell you a little bit about what's been going on behind the scenes. I have been trying out a Sony camera. Yep, the Sony A7 III. Everybody tells me how good it is. It's got rave reviews. All the vloggers out there are saying how wonderful it is. So I thought, give it a go. Set it up against the Z6 and see how we get on. So that's what I did. And it's a decent little camera. There's a few oddities, like the battery seems to go in the wrong way round compared to Nikon, but that could be the right way round for all I know. The memory cards, for some unknown reason, seem to go in backwards, so you can't actually see what you're putting in, and you can't easily see what you're taking out. But okay, we can live with that. The battery compartment doesn't shut properly unless you flick it. Yet again, I can live with that. What I couldn't live with are the colour differences between the Nikon and the Sony. I had to really work hard to get the same colours, the decent colours, some real colours. I mean, to begin with, it was coming out yellow. Now, I kind of have a feeling that it should be right straight out of the box. And the final thing that got me was it suddenly stopped working because it overheated. Now, I've not heard this from Sony before, but this is something I've now experienced. So I'm just saying what I have experienced. It's not a bad camera. The focus tracking is really good when you are in a simple situation where you're just tracking a person. When it's trying to track me and I'm holding up lenses and things, it's really not that great. It keeps going out of focus. I'm sorry, Sony users, and no, you're not going to like me saying this, and you're just going to say, oh, he's a Nikon guy. Well, I've got Canons up there that I really rate. I really wanted to like this little Sony, but I don't. So it's going, and so's the lens that went with it. And what am I going to replace it with? Well, let's see. So, what else? It is, of course, the Z6 II. So moving on, I thought it might be quite interesting to not only compare the Z6 II to the old Z6, but to start with a dual box opening. Now, everyone that's watched me before must know that I use my Nikon Z6 as a primary video camera. Why? Because it's ridiculously sharp and its colours are spot on straight out of the box. The focus has never failed me, and despite online slating, I've got to say it, it's very good at what it does. So yes, I've popped the camera back in its box for this virtual opening just to compare what's parcelled with the Z6 and the Z6 II. We'll then compare the cameras side by side. But I guess the first thing is to open the boxes. So, here we go. The Z6 II is going to be second, and the Z6 original is now. So, the first thing is the obligatory manual. The equally obligatory camera strap. This particular one, the reason the box is so big is because I've got the FTZ adapter that came with it. And I can't see, but I know back here, because I put it in the other day, we've got the charger and the lead. Okay. Is that everything? No, it's not. We've got a little lead there, a little USB lead, and the connector that goes between the lead and the camera, which is supposed to hold it in place. I use a metal one, a metal frame, but... And then finally, we've got the camera, the Z6 camera. So I'll put that down here. So that's what you got with the Z6. I'll put this down over here. It's bound to keep shuffling around and moving. But that's not a bad haul, is it? Really, to be quite honest with you. Nice little haul. Anyway, Z6 II. Now this one I've not opened, so. Okay, the first thing we've got are two manuals. Okay, my gut feeling is it that complicated? No, because they're in different languages. And there's so many languages, they needed two manuals. Slightly different box setup for this one. Nikon Z. Okay, I can't see on the strap it actually said Z2, but Z6 or anything. What did the other strap look like? The strap looks identical. As far as I can see, without getting out the packet, the Z looks identical. Okay, that's interesting so far, isn't it? So I've got the lead, so I'm guessing I should have the remote, yes. The remote looks pretty much the same as the other remote. Yes, it's the MH25A. And the old one was MH25A, so that hasn't changed, has it? Okay. What else have we got in here? Lots of little adapters to attach the strap. Slightly more than the last one. USB cable, like the other one. Feel one more thing in here. What's that? You know what it's got to be. It's got to be the battery, hasn't it? And this is, of course, the ENEL 15C as opposed to the B with the previous one. More about that in a minute. And here we have the camera. Okay. Okay. So that's the camera. That is the Z6 II. So let's just clear some of this. I would like to use this as a bit of a platform. So let me see if I can make it happen. Doesn't look like I can. There we go. Isn't it lovely when you're ad-libbing? There we go. Okay. So, I know this is out of focus, and I'll tell you how I know it's out of focus. Excuse the lockdown haircut. The latest lockdown hairdo. It's taken over. I've got no control over it anymore. I've got the barbers on next week. First opportunity I could get. So who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I digress. So we've got the Z6 and the Z6 II. Now, the price of the Z6 II has increased about £400 compared to the Z6. And that was when it was released back in 2018. You could get a camera body for about £1,500. Now this Z6 II is nearly £2,000. I wonder what we get for the extra 500, other than a 2-year newer model, of course. Well, when I look at the cameras next to each other, to be honest, apart from the logo on the front, there's no way of really telling them apart. The backs look the same. The tops look the same. And the fronts look the same. If it weren't for the logo, I wouldn't know which one was which, other than the fact there's a sticker on the back of the Z6 II. And that's largely because, according to the specs, they're the same width and the same height, and only the depth is slightly larger on the Z6 II. Well, guys, I can't see it. Can you? The buttons and the dials are in the same place. Can you see that extra depth? No, neither can I. As I say, the dials and everything, and if they hadn't mentioned, if Nikon hadn't mentioned the 2mm depth increase, I would have sworn that they were using the same bodies. And they've just changed the sticker on the front. Internally, of course, they're using the same full frame CMOS 25 megapixel sensor. So you get the same 100 to 51,200 ISO, etc. Both have in-camera stabilization, a 3.2-inch tilting rear screen, the same viewfinder, the same video resolution, and finally they're both weather sealed. So I guess what we want to know is, what's the difference? Well, for me the headline is the Z6 II now takes an XQD memory card and an SD one as well. So that was where the XQD went on the Z6. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, yeah, we've got two holes there. A new hole. How exciting. A new slot to pop the... No, hang on a minute, I've got that run the wrong way. Sorry, guys. Well, that's got the two slots in it. Do you know, I've confused myself. They look so identical. Let's put them around the right way. Z6, Z6 II. The Z6 II has got two memory card slots. I can't believe I'm so excited and happy to have what we kind of should have had in the first place. But I do applaud Nikon for listening and putting it right eventually. I guess the next headline grabber is an increase of frames per second, 12 with the old one, and 14 with the new. Mind you, there's a caveat to these figures. When you look at the details, it does appear that should you choose 14-bit RAW, or with the Z6 II you want to use anything but single point autofocus, you'll end up with 9 and 12 frames per second. I don't think that's a game changer. I'm not even sure if the focus is affected in the Z6. I don't think that's affected. But it's kind of a bit disappointing, because I really thought that we were finally, us Nikon users, were finally catching up with those pesky Canons and their faster frames per second. I thought we were catching up with you, you Canon users, you. So, okay, what are the other differences? There's a minor weight increase with the two. Apparently, an 80 JPEG increase with the new battery. And finally, and I thought I'd leave this to last because it's really important, they may be using the same XSpeed 6 image processor, but this baby, the Z6 II, gets two of them. That's right, double the processing power, and that's supposed to improve an already impressive focus. Yes, I know there's vloggers out there that keep criticising the focus on it. I'm okay with it, it's fine. Especially when Nikon introduced eye detection in their 2.0 firmware update. And then they improved it even further to include animal eye detection in version 3.0. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you liked it, please do click the like button. It means an awful lot to me, and it knows I'm heading in the right direction. And if you really liked it and want to be told when my next video comes out, why don't you try on the subscribe button? I know it'll suit you. For now, they're out of the box, and it's time to play. See you all soon.